Okay, we are live now. Good day, everybody. Assalamualaikum, peace be unto you from wherever you're watching us from. I can't see anybody live yet. So today is the three of our conference, and I'm excited to have you all join us again today. For those that have been following us since day one, thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for the feedback. It's been amazing. And I also welcome you to this session. This particular session is the session that I'm actually personally looking forward to. One, because I have my mentor here, that is the first woman that I personally saw, and I had that feeling of, this is an example of the kind of woman I want to be. And I'm proud that today I can say that a reasonable amount of who I have become today was inspired by her, and I was mentored by her. May Allah bless her for me. I'm glad that she's honoring me to be here doing this again with me this year. Last year she was here with me. This year again, she's also still here, holding my hands and showing me how we can be confident. So if I'm giving this topic to her for her to handle it, believe me, she's an example, a living example of what confidence means without you being arrogant. I'm sure she's going to just dissect this topic for us today. And believe me, that 1.5 hours that she's going to be here will not be enough for us. So thank you again for honoring my invite. Mrs. Mutia Olagoke, thank you very much, ma. So
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me properly?
I can hear you, I can
Can you
hear
hear
you,
me
but not so
properly?
clear. Yes, I can hear you. Though it's not so
I'm
clear.
trying to see. Oh, is it not so clear or so loud?
Yes, I think it's clear and loud now. Now it's clear and loud.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing if I could. Hold on. Uh, I'm seeing if I could get
So
the
the
little
mic,
mic.
I think I should
Uh,
also, is my home clear, very clear?
yeah, very, very clear.
Okay. I
Um,
was thinking of using mine too.
I
So
want to
while
get
I'm
my own
trying
little
to,
mic.
while you are waiting, no problem, man. While we are waiting for my mentor and also my guest
People,
speaker today to
wait
start the
again.
session, I'll quickly go through a brief profile, of Sister Mutia Olagoke. She's a social entrepreneur, a communication expert, a social media content strategist, a publisher, NLP practitioner, a writer, public speaker, educational consultant, a coach, and a teacher. She runs Egret Media Concepts, a media company with a niche in education and self-development. As the founder and managing team to achieve big goals, as the editor-in-chief and publisher, Kiddies Digest, the chief moderator, Junior Debate League, and Spelling Challenge and Muslima Speak, the curator, What Speech Day Kids Lagos, and supports Muslims, small business owners, leverage on social media to build successful enterprises as the chief of Egret Girls. So when you hear her say Egret Girls, she is she's the one that runs Egret Media, and she's the one that holds all Egret girls on how to effectively run their businesses like an international brand. So Mutia is passionate about inspiring self-development in children and adults. As a speaking and creative writing coach, she enjoys teaching and helping people discover and communicate their awesomeness to the world. So the key word about her is just awesomeness. So join me and enjoy this session. You just go and take your writing materials. Please don't say I did not tell you beforehand. So you have the floor, ma.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Clearly, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, so I hope it's not better than before. And uh, uh, hi everyone, thank you so much, Shakira. I say that people don't know how to read my profile; they just read and say some words and cut. And you did a great job of reading it. In the last 1 week, a lot of people have read my profile, and I will say there's an art, or maybe they are just keywords in my own profile that people just see, maybe they just And I'm very honored to be here once again. I don't know if I was in edition one, but I know that I was here last year. And this is the third one, and I'm so honored to also be part of the lineup. Such a great honor to be a part of something amazing like this, something that I already can see is going to grow into an amazing stuff. Bismillah. My name is Mutiat Olagoke. For those just joining us, my friends call me the queen of awesomeness. My business community call me the chief egret girl, and the rest of the world, for some reason, including my own mother, call me Atimuti. And today, talking of mothers and motherhood, today we're talking about confidence from the person. And for someone who was raised by a very confident mother and parents who believed so much, to give credit to my amazing father too, parents who believed so much on confidence that they raised 8 confident children, 5 of their own and 3 of other people. And if you know something about confidence, it is not easy to raise confident children. It is not that the work it takes, the emotional part of it, because the more confident your children are, the more they are set in their ways, the more stubborn they come across. And like Sister Shakira said, I'm one of those people who are confident but not arrogant. It was hard work. It was hard work because even though I like to think that if you understand confidence well, there is no thin line between confidence and arrogance. But I will admit that it's a lot easier for me to be confident than to be arrogant. And I will say that I believe that arrogance is actually a low self-esteem. A low self-esteem kind of a thing. I personally believe that arrogance is a quality of someone who needs external validation and who needs to prove. Because by definition, confidence has nothing to do with other people. It is you believing in yourself and your abilities. So, how do you raise children who have confidence? But the way the topic was written, an evidence of healthy parenting. So, we are not just going to be talking about raising confident children or the characteristics of confidence. We're going to be talking about it from an element of parenting as your roles as parents. So confidence as an evidence of healthy parenting. We will start by defining what confidence is and that def- the things that measure up to how well you've done with how you've achieved it. So by simple logic, by simple definition, confidence is the way that confidence is when you believe in yourself and your ability to do well. So, confidence is when you believe in yourself and your ability to do well. And for you as a parent, why does that matter? Why does it matter? Why does confidence matter to you as a parent? I wish that I know that this is streaming on YouTube, so getting an interactive class may not be as possible as it would have been on another platform. However, Sister Shakira, if if you're monitoring the topic, the engagement from YouTube, I will appreciate if you share
I'm currently doing that.
any of the comments you see.
That's the screen.
If
I think you
you
can see
have
it.
any, mashallah, thank you. She's confident but not arrogant. I apologize easily. LB Queen, you touch on something very deep, something that something deep. We'll get there. Apologizing quickly is something that is difficult for even people that are not arrogant. I do not. I mean, I don't understand why apology is so hard. I mean, in the very least, you can patronize people with apology and let them just be going with their wala. But it's like people feel like, oh, when I give them apology, it means that they have taken me for granted. It doesn't matter how they take you. What matters the most in the achievement of your self-development or even achievement of your success as a person, the first thing that matters is how do you take yourself. I'm going to apologize to anyone deserving, or sometimes not just deserving. I use it as a tool of, please, can I just pass? Because I define everything that I do by how much peace it gives me, how much leverage it gives me. So if I say I'm sorry, and I do truly mean that I'm sorry, I'm asking myself, what am I taking away from that? I am taking away peace. If it is a marriage, I'm taking away a safe place. I'm taking away no grudges. Because remembering, we're talking about parenting. So if I apologize to my spouse and things go on, I'm also role modeling to my children. So for your child that apologizes, I am sure that you as a parent probably apologize as well too. So confidence, I was asking, why does confidence matter? It is a two-way thing. Confidence does matter to the children you're parenting, but before we talk about the children we're parenting, we need to talk about you as a parent. Your own confidence matter too. And I said that confidence is the ability, is on this is believing in yourself and your ability to do well. One of the greatest fears that parents have is always, oh, am I going to fail this child? Am I doing the right thing? And you meet mothers, especially mothers. I like to believe that we have more mothers on this live chat than we would fathers, but especially mothers have the fear of, am I a good mother? Am I doing well by my children? I hope I am not making mistake. I hope and lie. You are doing your best. And the truth can only hope that your best will be enough. Your fears and beating yourself down does not do anything because confidence matters a great deal. Your confidence as a parent is important for not just you, for your children, entrepreneur. And when things are hard, continue to try. And I think the most beneficial thing I've done on my journey here as a person, raised by someone, as an evidence of somebody's. And if you ask me, how did that come about? I'm not going to tell you it came about because I read books, because I went to school. No, it came about because my mother is a self-development. I look at this woman at 16, she's 60 this year, and I am marveled by how much my mother has redefined herself as a human being, as a business person. My mother has done 4, 5 different businesses transform myself. Even our current business, my mother's school used to be a secular school. And my mom is one person who would analyze and say, this is not working. And one thing I love most about her is that she will ask questions. She's not too arrogant to ask people, "Báwo lẹ ṣe ń ṣe? How do you do it?" And that's what she does. She decided to take a school that was what, almost 10 years at that time, or more than 10 years, and went from secular all the way to making it a complete Muslim school. I thought it was a good idea because I'd already told her in the beginning that a school is going to be treated like, are you sure she's really Muslim? And then some people say maybe she's not Muslim, maybe she's Christian, maybe she is. And it was causing a lot of problem. My mom turned that school around and decided, you know what, I don't care who I lose or what I lose, we're changing this to a Muslim school. And I think that was a great idea. And to the glory of God, the business has life-changing risk thing my mom does. She's not selling plastic again. She stays at home. Started to homeschool her child or partially homeschool her child. And she decided that, and I could start a school. I have a degree in education. I could. And I spent the next 6 months going from one school to another to investigate how things are done. And I can tell you for a fact that your confidence, everybody wants to raise children who are confident. The question is only important to you and the way you feel and the way you carry on your role as a parent is also important to your children because you will serve as a role model for them. It's going to be incredible to have a parent who's not confident, raising a confident child. I would tell you that would be like a house of cards. And sometimes it does happen. Maybe their father has a very strong personality and is able to make up your own low self-esteem. I remember one of the classes I took, one of the that does it because you can come and try that with your Yoruba mama now. But we still have that. Many people will talk about how we have all these Yahoo boys and their mothers are supporting them. Some of these mothers do not have a choice. The children have a bigger say, a bigger voice. And there are some of those mothers that don't support them. They are just saying there's something Yoruba people say, "Omeni ole buju, kafi fwe kunpa," meaning that no matter how terrible your child is, you cannot throw the child to the lions or is it tiger. You can't throw the child away, especially given how we define ourselves by parenting. We define ourselves by our children. People will abuse you because of your children. They will abuse you because of whether you lack it or not. They will. So we are wired to define our own goodness by those children. And there are children who do not listen to their parents. And a lot of times it's because they are probably more strong willed and the mother's will is very so if you are not confident, if you are not strong in your own self-esteem, the children are going to grow up into their own self. And until they reach 40, you really have to be a guide, at least for us as Muslims, until they reach 40. For the rest of the world, maybe 18 years old. Now, for us Muslims, 40, that's what the Quran said, right? You need to continue to be a guide for them. You cannot get to a point where you can see that your child is doing something when you don't have the voice or the audacity. Because yes, there are some parents that don't have, some of us are here. Our parents don't have the audacity to choke mouth in our business. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I have parents who have audacity. Who born you? Even at this age, even if I'm contributing to the society, I have parents who have the audacity to now say that my mom doesn't have a say in my life. Mommy, I'll not wake up. It's not like she's going to kill me. I'm just saying. So when you demonstrate confidence in your choices and action, it can encourage your own children to feel confident. I see people come to say that their children are getting into the university or going to secondary school and they're doing the opposite of the values that they taught them at home. And I tell them that the reason is that you've been hypocrite of the values you teach your children. Many of those children go into the university saying things like, and I'm going to focus on the mothers because we are the one. Most times we are the soft parents. We wait for daddy to come before we discipline the children. That some of us don't even have a say. Our children can tell. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. Clearly.
Okay, I want to be sure why you are on the screen. Maybe I'm not
I will
saying
leave
I'm
it. I will
saying
leave it. I will leave it. I will leave it.
okay. 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 Some of us are Your children can see that if daddy should shout like this, you become small. You become small. You don't have a say on how your own home is run. You don't even have a say. Some of you, you go to school, is whatever the teachers can talk to you anyhow. You can't defend your children with the neighbors. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not a fan of going to school to fight anybody for any child, especially when the child is in the wrong. I'm not a fan of fighting everywhere because somebody look at your child, you want to fight. No, I'm a fan of assertiveness. When you're confident, you are assertive. And when you are assertive, you give your children evidence of how to be. Now, another thing that's directly related to healthy parenting is that a lot of times, the dysfunctionality that comes from our own self esteem, our own lack of self esteem or low self esteem, will show in parents, will show in the kind of children we're raising. When I take classes, I teach public speaking, I teach soft skills. I can tell. I can tell everybody's method of parenting by just engaging your children at least once or twice. I can tell the ones that the parents are raising elderly. See, I can tell what your definition of confidence is. A great example. You will meet children who are like myself, smart mouths. They can talk. They talk, 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 talk. And when I meet a child whose parents recognize that this child has a mouth on her, and like my own mother, who says that it's okay to have mouth, but the nonsense must not come out of that mouth. And she was determined to raise children who do not say nonsense. And she gave it a best shot. Now, when I meet parents who are in awe of their children's smartness, I can tell because those children they don't have break, they don't have shock, they are the children that will come and talk. And you'll be like, wow. And everybody, oh, she's such a good, she's just a good soul. No, she's not. She's a foolish child who can talk. Your job as a parent is not to quiet the voice, which some other parents will now do. Some other parents will quiet that voice. I'm like, no, she can talk too much. Keep quiet. Goodbye. When you say everything, I can tell which is which. And I will tell you, for those of you all that are parenting strong-willed children, spirited children, children who can talk, children who are smart, children who are socially smart, children, both sides, allowing the child to be without any influence and trying to shut the child up is too extremes, and it is not a sign of healthy parenting. I also see people raising children who are naturally shy, or should we say introverted, who do everything to force the child out. The child does not talk. The child does not talk. I don't know which kind of child is this. Where did I see this child? I'm not like that. Give them an example. I doubt, however, I will have an introverted child, but let's even say I do. God forbid I'm going to be like that. Neither would I be like those people that will say, that's how me too I was when I was small. Shall leave her alone. Me too, I was shy like that. I was shy. Or if it's for talkative children, you say, oh, me too. As a child, I used to talk like that, but look at me, at least I'm doing well. No, you are not. Are you really doing well? And just because you are doing well doesn't mean your child will do well, because the circumstances of your own experience is going to be different from your child's experience. So we're not, and the goal of raising these children is not to raise them the way we were raised, or the way is to raise them in a way that whichever world they live in whatever way, place they find themselves, they're able to stand up for themselves and leverage on the resources they find there. So whether you are trying to shut down the child or forcefully force the child to talk, or whether you are trying to leave the child alone because what's there, all three is not healthy parenting style. So, what is healthy parenting style when it comes to confidence? It is a system where, first and foremost, you will measure your child for who the child is, not who you think they are, not who you think they should be. That's the first step. Because the first step to confidence is understanding your child.
Hello, can you hear her? Can you hear her again? I don't know if it's my network or hers. If you can
Right
still
back.
hear, okay. I think you're back. Yes, you're back. You're back.
Can you hear me? Okay. The first thing to do to raise a confident child is the understanding of the child. Or let's all say understanding of yourself. Whether you're understanding the child or yourself, I think yourself should start with understanding the child. Because Aristotle said the understanding of self is the beginning of all wisdom. Understand yourself first. Who are you? Who are you? And how is that playing out in your parenting? Me, Obuga. Is that who you are? And how is that affecting the way you parent your children? How is that affecting the personality of the children you're raising? Is it working? Because most times when parenting is not working, people will now say things like, oh my yes, you can just try for them. You cannot do, you just try your best. Are you really trying your best? Are you really trying what is best? Are you really trying what is best? Or you are just saying, this is where I am. I cannot be anything different. Who are you? After you have analyzed yourself, analyze your child. Now, it's not like, oh, a lion's child should look like a lion. Not all lions' children look like lions. Or no, all lions' children look like lions. But not all lions' children are going to be king of the pride. They will be able to garner in you child of child over child is the one that is very extrovert. We have corrupted her. Now, one of the things that my mom did was recognizing that because she is introvert, for what kind of children are this? We're always shouting, we're always jumping. She's never experienced that before. We don't sit still. You will never meet us inside the house. They're always far away in somebody's bush. We were children. And this was a woman who would stay in our father's house. Or she, if my mom should go, maybe in front of in front of the door, just watching everybody. She raised children who were just like her siblings that never sat. And so what she thought, and she said that she decided that it was going to be hard for her to insist that we become homebodies like her. So she decided, I'm going to let these children be, but there will be boundaries. So she's created boundaries. And I will say that that's one of the things I'm most appreciative for as a human being. Because if my mother hadn't had boundaries of what we could say, what we could do, we would have just been goats, especially when it comes to the mouth. She was particular about what comes out of your mouth. She was very particular about it. And one of the things that she and my father did was to fill our minds. Oh, these children like to talk. So we're going to fill their minds with exposure. So in the 90s, my parents were raising children for the future, filling us with content that many of our mates at the time did not have exposure for. Things that are now easy for people to get on Google were things that, we had. I have a box of encyclopedia somewhere in my office, and somebody was looking at it saying, "Oh, I need this for my children." And I said, "We had a whole box of it when we were younger." I said, "Really? That is the first time I'm seeing." We've had dictionary this big that we will be forced to read by fire by force, not even by fire, books, just so that maybe you people can talk. You will talk, but you will talk sense. And that was the attitude. So first and foremost, recognize you outside of your children, and then recognize your children outside of you. Who are they? What are their strengths? And how can you help them? Stop trying to make them like you. You're not going, they will not be confident. Even if you are confident in yourself, but saying you want the child to be like you in your own personality is not going to help. And it's not healthy parenting. The truth is that your children will wake up one day and realize that they are more like you than they are like anything, regardless of whatever path they took. I'm telling you that there are days I'll sit there and be like, Omo, I've become my mother. Oh. I've become my mother because my mother is my number one role model. So I literally model my life after without us having the same personalities. It now seems like we're becoming ourselves. So there's no need to be afraid of whether this child will now be like your uncle. Forget the uncle. Make healthy choices in the best interest of that child. This child is sporty. Don't say because you were bookie, by fire by force, the child must be bookie. Leave the child alone. Let him be sporty. Get books on sports. Maybe he likes sports and you want him to read. Get books on sports. Leverage. Okay, you want to do sports? Of course, you're going to do sport and mommy will support you. And when mommy is reading, we're going to do it together. And that's how you end up raising a bookish, sporty child. Rather than insisting, no, God forbid, you cannot do sports. Me, I will not be looking for first aid every month, every day. No, you can't. Don't run around. Oh, don't break your leg. I cannot sleep in Igbobi. That's not how people sleep in Igbobi. There are children that do not do anything, just fell in their parlor in Igbobi. So make healthy choices. And you cannot help the child's confidence or make healthy choices to help them build great self concept if you don't know them. If they you don't know them. And I know that parents for me that because you know your child more than we do. Now, I said that because I'm hoping they know their children more than they do. Regardless, they should know. Some of those children are meeting for the first time tomorrow. So I'm hoping they know the children more than I do. And I made a suggestion because you know your children more than you do. You may know that they need this extra this. So please ensure that you leave room for it. You should know your children enough to know. And when you know them, you can now move on to the next thing. Learning resources like working with TP parenting, for instance, they have different trainings on parenting that you can leverage on. So you found that your child is not understand what it means to be an introvert, even if you try. As much as I work with we I do cognitive behavioral therapy. I've done NLP. I understand how behavior is formed. I understand how personality is formed. I cannot understand what being an introvert is. And to be honest, I'm also an ambivert. I do well. I can be in my house for 2 weeks without going anywhere. And then yesterday, I was in 5 different local governments in Lagos State. Or let me not exaggerate, 3 local governments. Going from there to here to here. And I felt good. That's me. But yet, I can't still understand what 100% introvertedness means. So if I'm raising an introvert child or introverted child, I would definitely need help. The first help I will ask is in this family of their father, because there's no introvert in my mom is introverted, so definitely. But in all honesty, I don't know a lot of introverted people. Even my mom self have been corrupted as an extrovert. So I don't know a lot of introverted people. Even my mom self have been corrupted as an extrovert. So I'm going to go and look for their family house. Who is like this in your family house? And talk to the person just to understand the person. The network is bad. Is it me or theirs? Am I still here?
I think it's yours. You are here, but at the point it was just we could barely
So
hear you.
Shakira,
I can hear you now. Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm on the screen currently. I think it's your network. It's breaking. Yes, yes, yes. Seriously, we could not hear you clearly at some point. I think you are back now. Are you there? We are hoping that she's going to join us soon. Let's just wait for some minutes. I hope that our network is bad so she can join us soon. Okay, let's hope. I think she's back now. Yes, I think I can hear you a bit. I can hear some sounds now. Yeah. Yeah.
how am I sounding?
Clearly now. Clear.
Oh, okay. Um, I was trying to find alternative network. I don't know. Usually don't struggle with MTN on Sunday. Thank you very much, Sir, for the stuff. Make healthy choices in the best interest of your children. Yes. And then I was saying that The next thing after understanding the kids, so that you are able to even recognize what healthy choice mean for your child, you need to leverage on resources. You need to go leverage on the resources. Um, you need to seek learning resources. Talk to an expert. So people will be like, I hear some people say, ha, you people, sha, do our parents go to parenting school? Are we not all right? The question is, are we really all right? Are we really all right? You have to be honest with yourself. People will say, we shall survived, but are we thriving? We survive. How many of us are thriving? And when I say thriving, I'm not even talking about money. Let's not even start talking about money. Are we thriving mentally, physically, emotionally, in our faith, spiritually? Are we truly living our best, most peaceful life? Are we genuinely contented and fulfilled with our lives? Because the way I see it, they raised me, and I will say that my parents gave it a great shot. I must clap for them. But I will also tell you that in the last 10 years of my life, I've consistently been on a journey of healing from some of the experiences that I've had, even through a healthy home like mine. So now think of majority of us that have come from dysfunctionality. Like as healthy as our home seemed, there were still things that I had to unburden, unlearn, and heal from. In the ways that life happened to me growing up and even as an adult. And your children, no matter how much work you do, will need to do that too. They will need to go through that for themselves too. Or at least do a great job. And if you don't know what a great job is because there's no blueprint, because you probably came from parents who did not so great job, or parents who tried their best was just not enough, or something, they did everything, but some things were overlooked. It means that there are things you don't know. I can be able to talk about parenting from a place of healthiness, and I can be at peace with. I'm parenting Gen Zs, older Gen Zs, and people ask me, "Muti, how do you do it? How are you able to cope with these 20-something-year-olds living with you?" Well, they come from the learning experiences I've picked up on the road here as a teacher, as a soft skill coach, as a self esteem coach and mentor. So I'm able to apply that in the way that I parent and guide and mentor even children as old as 22, 23, 24, 25, and we can't call them children anymore. I'm able to live at ease and at peace with them and also help them become better. And I can see some of the things they become, and I'm like, well done to me. A lie, I was not born this way. They did not born me with the temperament. Because if my temperament alone, the people who know the kind of squishy that I have will see it and be like, come on, Muti, you have been awesome. Oh." It comes from resources. It comes from learning. I didn't become awesome because I was born this way. I became awesome because I learned, I chose to. And when you choose to be awesome, you recognize, you'll be able to analyze that, am I really awesome? And then you say, I think I'm awesome in this place, but these ones are missing. And then you go find those ones. And that's the same thing with your parenting journey. You want to raise confident children, you should leverage. You should seek resources on how to leverage it. Coming to this conference is the first step, so well done to you. Checking out what TP Parenting has in their lineup of trainings, definitely something you must do. The next one is to explore family activities. Family activities are key. Your children should not be so smart that there's no involvement. Now, even if the children seem to be their own person and they are strong willed from heaven, because some children are just strong willed from the day you born them, they still need you. They still need you. That's raw talent. So they still need you to mold it. Whether the child doesn't have, the child is recluse and extroverted and shy, or the child is everywhere. I see children who have natural confidence and their own sense of self as a burning flame, you know, just born like that. If you don't do anything about it, it can get you burnt. Your job as a parent is to tame that fire. And for children who are not burning that fire, your job is to put it on and tame it. At no time should you leave any fire unattended to. Tame the fire. If as the fire is burning red and you are clamping, if only you know how much result you will get by taming it and making it blue. You know how soft blue flame goes? That's the one that is really hot. And that's the one that gets results and it doesn't get burnt, it won't burn your stove, it is well tamed to achieve results. That's what family activities and some of the healthy choices you should be making for your children in their best interest will do. Explore family activities. Have Start by having a family vision. And I believe these are things that TP parenting teach, bringing us again to checking out their calendar. Don't don't just stop at coming to the free conference. No. It's not like their bill is very expensive. I'm not marketing for them. I'm just telling you the best stuff are actually paid for, especially on this internet. This one is good, though. This free sense you're collecting is good. But now check on paid stuff. First and foremost, start with a family vision. What's the vision that you want for your family? What's the what's the blueprint like 10 years from now? What's the vision? I always say this story a lot of times. Now, my parents, when you look at all my parents' children, you will look at us and be like, "How you people, eh? Allah will shall help you." Yeah. Because one way or the other, we all have our struggles, and there are struggles that will make people think, "Are you sure you people do not have spiritual problems?" we we don't, and even if we do, we're fine. Now, despite those struggles, despite those struggles, my mother's children are probably the most happy, the happiest people you will meet. Look at me. We're contented, spiritually growing. And in all the careers that we have chosen, we are respected and we are thriving. And I think that's kudos to how we've been raised. And I tell my mom the last time she came and I said, regardless of what we're going through, I think that people would judge you by what your children are going through. But people need to start measuring that regardless of what we are going through, we are able to continue to rise above it. You cannot look at me, meeting me for the first time and say, this auntie will have plenty of problems. You're probably thinking in your mind that, oh, this babe has everything put together. Look at her. Her life is well cool. Look at her home office. Oh, she's very one rich kid like this. You're probably thinking positive things about me. Thinking maybe this person cannot happen. Look at how her face is shining. I do. Plenty problems. But the ability to rise above them and continue to show up for myself, my community, and continue to make a difference and continue to live a fulfilled life despite the challenges. Now, that's what makes you a higher human being. Because for us, especially Muslims, Allah has promised us that there will always be trials. Now, the question is now like, what kind of life are you going to live, or what will you do about those trials? And I will say that, salute to myself and my siblings, may Allah ease our affairs, that regarding those trials, we are holding it down. And that's kudos to our parents. So, what vision do you have? And quite frankly, when you ask me about my vision for my children, I want to raise children that no matter where they find themselves, no matter what life throws at them, they keep thriving. They keep rising above the challenges. That's the ultimate for me. It's not- Whether they have money, they keep rising. Whether they don't, they keep rising. They continue to find ways to leverage on the resources that they get to continue to live their best life. That's what I want. What do you want? Have a family vision. And because it is a family vision, everyone in the family must agree to it. Everyone must know what the vision is. The vision should not live in your head. Write it on a wall, put it on a canvas, have a meeting with your husband and discuss it. Sometimes some of these husbands will be like, you people have come again from your training. You have to find a way to convince him. I mean, he should have, all of us have a vision anyway. All of us have it. Whether we are intentional or aware of it or not, all of us have visions. So, what is his own? Ask him what is his own. When it says his own, write it down. What is your own? And then break it down into simple acts that your children can follow. We have something we call the family value here, where we wrote all the things. There's no family value list you want to make. So we write it like smile, be kind, pick after yourself, take this. We have that. Write your own family value. And then look for activities that will reinforce those values. You see that I did not say go to activity straight. First, have a vision, break your family vision into values, and then from there, you will. Let me go and find. I didn't think I would need the family value because I want to explain this explicitly. And Sister Shakira gave me 90 minutes, so I need to make the best use of this 90 minutes. So let me go and bring a teaching aid to show you what I mean so that
Please
you will
go, go,
truly,
go, go, go,
you will
go, go,
truly
go, go.
design something.
Thank you,
Mhm.
ma. Thank you for doing extra.
So let me see. Okay. Uh, what is
Okay,
the
while
family
we're waiting
value?
for her to join us, let's share nuggets in the comment section. Let's see what you've been learning. I can see Auntie Quint has been the one sharing what she has been learning so far. Thank you. Others drop one sentence or one word that you have already learnt and you are taking away from here in the comment section. Please let's read from you. She's already doing some of our course for you. Free course letting value you. That's how awesome she can be. But please let's read
I
from
don't
you. What
want to
have
do
you
your course for them,
learnt?
or where we should move along. I
Just
don't want to
no,
teach
no,
them
no,
anything.
no. It's just the very fair. I said you know now.
Okay. So this is
Let's go
the
ahead.
family value, for instance, right? And this is one of our family values. You need to have a family vision. You want to raise children who are well behaved. All of us have different things. I have a friend. Our biggest vision is to raise children that are happy. And I realized that I think now all our children are happy now. Now, there are things that used to matter to me that I didn't think she was making a big deal out of for our children. And I used to, at that time, I used to feel like, they see, my own vision for my children is different from our vision for our children. Now, the vision she had is to raise affluent children who are well behaved. All of us have different things. I have a friend, our biggest vision is to raise Hafiz children, and she has achieved the vision. And the values she inculcated focus on that vision. Some people subconsciously have this vision, and it is the vision that guides the values that they raise their children upon. For me, when I was designing this, I designed it for a friend actually in 2015. I designed it from the vision that I think that every home should be. Now, your vision may be slightly different from mine, but there's a great chance that practically every value here will matter to you. Now, we have one that this one, the one for Muslims usually carry this line, but when we have non-Muslims ask for it, we don't have this line. So basically, it's so let me now give you an example. After designing, you don't have to come and buy this one. Just you can design it by yourself. After designing what your vision is, I want to raise children who will be professors, right? Now, what are the characteristics and the values of professors? What's the character of the kind of professor you want to raise? What like close your eyes and envision the character of that person. So I want to raise children who are going to continue my legacy of awesomeness. So they must obey Allah and they must so because that's the first step for me. So now, when this is a value, right? Obey, obedience. because my name literally means obey Allah and Rasul. Akte Allah wa Rasul. That's where they got my mote from. So this is a big deal of a value for me. Now, what does this mean? Obey Allah and Rasul. When you write this value down, or you say pray, or let's go to pray, always tell the truth. And what are the family activities that you can do to ensure that your children always pray? So if prayer is a big deal for you, it's a big deal. You want to raise children, your vision is to raise children who have who will build a character of somebody who prays. It means that in your house, you need to be doing congregation prayer. If you're Christians, your morning devotion together. It means that you are leading with prayer. The activities that you do is prayer focused. Respect and be kind to others. This is not a house where you will a house that wants respect and to be kind. It's not a house where you will say in our house, whoever use their plate will wash their plate. Nobody washes plate for anyone. No, I'm not a fan of that. But you people may be raising children that will be independent of everybody else. If that's what you're doing, then that's fine. For me, if we're going to be kind to people, it means that I'm going to raise children who will be kind enough to help other people pick their plates and go and wash it. But why might you want washing plates for everybody? Because you're kind. Because your brother is too young to climb the sink. Please wash the plate. Why am I the one that will be picking it? Because you are a kind person. That's why. So you're getting it. So there will be activities. Oh, we want a family where we want everybody to you say you hug, you smile, you listen. Whatever activity that will encourage these things. Saying thank you. You can play a game. We used to have this amazing game in our house where, my mom, where we would do a video. What's the word? We used to have like the opera show. And now all of us did sciences except one of my brothers. Everybody in my house, except one that did political science, which is also ending with science. And one day my mom said, how is it that all our children are graphic designer? I'm like, because when we were younger, they used to allow us to do, all our children are creatives. All our children are creatives. Because when we were younger, we used to do creative stuff. That's why you think the family activity we always do together always has to do with creativity and stuff and creating content. And now all of us are literally UI UX, illustrator, content strategist, brand strategy, graphic designer. That's what all my mother's children are. And it has to do with our family togetherness. You can cook together. You can go hiking together. Where do you hike in Nigeria? Take a walk. Take a walk. Go on a morning walk. Wake your family up and say, you want to raise healthy children? Bismillah. Everybody get up tomorrow after Subri. Wear your gear and we all go for a 3-kilometer walk. It is good for their health. They do all the running and jumping they are doing together. You can have a cooking stuff together. It's not like, they will mess my kitchen up. Let them mess it up. Some of us don't want our children to do anything because they will spoil it, they will break it. How will they build confidence in those skills? I work with women with low self-esteem 5 nights a week. And I will tell you that 80% of the women in their 20s that I have worked with were women who were raised by mothers who didn't really allow them to take charge when they were children. Let them take charge. Let them be in charge. I will lie down on my bed and somebody will be asking me, what do we eat at night for dinner? I will look at them like this. If you are the mommy, what are we going to eat? Go and figure it out. I'm not going to figure it out because when I was younger too, my mom would say that if I'm not at home by 5 p.m., you should be cooking something. Think about what we did not eat yesterday. So you think my mom will come home at 5:30, you will say there's dirty on fire. If she's not at home by 5 o'clock, the first thing, in fact, 4:30, by 4:30, if she's not around, I'm already thinking, okay, we had rice yesterday, so we can eat beans today. So now, While I'm on my bed relaxing after work, someone is asking me, so what should we cook? It out. I don't go and figure it out. Go and figure it out. And then they'll come back after 1 hour and come and tell me that they have found kini cooking. I'll be after they found this in the kitchen. I bet we should cook this. Yes, let's cook that. That's how to raise confident children. Put them in charge. And when I say that raising confident children is hard, oh, and that's what makes it hard. That's the hardest part of raising confident children because you confident children because you will not be able to control them. How many control does my mother have on me? Yes, if she wants something, she knows how to and for. They will call me and say, "Are you in class? Oh, I think you're in class. That's why I did not disturb you." They're very respectful of my time. Because now that I cut the phone, she's not calling back. She how can I be calling you? Even if you're in class, you cannot take 2 minutes break to listen to me as your mother. What do you mean? What if I am fainting? I'm in hospital, kilo shele, calm down. That's the way some of our mothers are. Some of us have mothers like that. Some of us are going to be like that. We cannot be like that. When I decided I wanted to start my business, my parents wanted me to go into federal civil service. In fact, they found somebody who would help me find a job. I did not answer. It was hard on them because they thought I was crazy. And one day I looked at them and said, "See, I was sitting down, JJ, you are the people that say you want to raise confident children. Now that I am confident, I'm not telling you that I am confident about what I want to do in my life. You are not happy with it. You are the one who raised me like this. And part of the consequence of your raising is that you can't just raise a child that's confident to stand up for herself when she's being bullied. No, she's going to be confident in every aspect. And I am confident that this business I want to do is important. And I would say, well, that's what I told my parents. That see, this is the consequence of raising confident children. There will come a time where the assertiveness, that standing up for themselves, will be against you, and you can't fight back. Some parents at that time they will now start destroying the child's self-esteem. Because if my parents wanted to, they could have destroyed my child's self-esteem. Two things would have happened. I would have run away from home or lost my self-esteem. Because some parents will say, "I'm the one who built you up and I'm going to destroy you." And that's how much power you have over your children. Yes, you can destroy them. So are you sure you want it? So moving on, the next thing is to plan and have routines. See, vision, vision, they do not happen by themselves. Confident children do not come along by themselves. Children do not inherit characters. They don't inherit spirituality. They don't inherit. See, yes, they may have the inherent talent in them. But if you leave it like that, it can go this way or that way or just stay. So if you truly want to raise, and people will say things like, "Oh, it's God that does it." Yes, God does it, but you have to do your part. And part of doing your part, if you want to raise children that are confident and have great self-esteem, is to plan, have a routine, have planning. Confidence is organized. Children need a stable structure. They need stable structure. They need a structured life to truly. I want their children to try. Yes, that's what confident children will be. You need to. You need to arrange your life. When the couple of the 20-year-olds that live with me, when they first came, and I told them that I start cooking dinner later by 5 p.m. And they are like, ha. I now ask them, when do you eat dinner in your house? They say, sometime or anytime. They start cooking dinner anytime. Then sometime, maybe like 7, maybe like 8. I say 8 a.m. They say 8 p.m. I say, why? And because it's until night. The small children in your house, when do they eat? And sometimes those children would have slept or they will have to be waking them up. There's no meal time. Wow. Why? So when do you sleep? And you can't, you see, it tells. It tells. And me like this, I know used to fight. I even had light out when I saw that they were not sleeping. People were praying Isha at 2 a.m. Kilo Shelley. That's why I said, you know what? I want the light off at 11 p.m. I do not care. If you don't want to sleep, lie on the bed, be pressing your phone. But I want the light off in my house at 11 p.m. Dinner should be ready because I'm going to eat my own dinner at 6 p.m. And if you would like eat your dinner at King Kong, dinner will be ready latest by 7 p.m. Latest by 7 p.m. This is, we're working from home. You must be on your seat by 8:30 p.m. It can seem like a lot of wala, but you see, structure brings peace. Lack of structure is chaotic. There's structure. There's someone who does this, there's someone who cooks this, there's someone who gets the fuel. It's not a matter of I'm calling somebody. It helps the children. It helps them to build. They know that you're not just coming to disrupt their life. Some of us are destructive human beings. Today, like this, we say, this is how we do. Tomorrow, I don't want it like that again. Hey! And then the child doesn't know. Your child doesn't know the mood you will be. Do you think that child will be confident? No. And it's more when you call, they're jumping because they don't know what is next. They don't know when they will eat. Structure for everything. What's going on in the mornings? Wake up in the morning, you are looking for one shoe. Where's the shoe? And you think your children will be confident? No. Go and look at very confident, organized children. Yes, some of them are more structured, they will do better. Maybe if you are more structured, your children are geniuses, but you are better. Another way to raise confident children, which I can testify to because we're using my mother as a case study, is to read and learn together. Read and learn together. My favorite thing about my father is how he likes to watch documentary and watch TV. My father doesn't like two television in the house. That some people will now say they are watching. No, all of us are sitting together to watch because it's easy to bond. For him, he wants us to bond. And when we are all sitting together and somebody is not talking, he's going to be poking at the person. Don't you have any idea about what they are talking? Everybody is discussing. You can't discuss. That's why if you're watching television with me, for those of you that like quiet time when you're watching television, you can't watch it with me. I was raised in a house where everything we're seeing on the screen, all of us must be discussing it. And that helped us build our confidence. It helped us to build our creative thinking. So somebody will say something, and all of us will start discussing it, and that's how we do with documentaries. And because we're social learners, it helps us to build our learning skills. So practically, me and everybody, we're social learners. My brother sees something somewhere, will come to my room to say, Ewokini, and we laugh together, and that's how we learn. And it really helped us to bond. It helped us to build. And you see, when you have a good bond with your family members, it gives you a certain confidence that nobody can understand. It tells you that whatever kind of trouble I get into, home is where the heart is. There's always someone in the world who gets me. Like sometimes when I feel like people don't get me wherever I am, I'll just remember my siblings and be like, oh, hmm. Even if they're not there, I am grateful and confident in the fact that there's nothing odd about me. There are people in my family house who gets it. Okay, so read together. Don't just read any kind of books. Read books that will definitely help their confidence, whatever value you are trying to teach. Read books that focus on that. Not just read, have conversations about it. Hear what they have to say. Don't be like, you're talking. Listen to me when I'm talking. Let them say their own opinion. Even if the opinion is immature. Then when they say an immature opinion, well, let children know what they are saying. Help them link it to something huge. So a child says, so when I now go and I like and I not go, and I say, you as a parent will take that. Don't be like, which rubbish is this one saying? Is that what they are doing? No. Try to make sense of what you have said in the context of what you are watching or what you're reading or what you are hoping it will say. And be like, oh, so that day that we went, yeah, yes, this road, it's true. That tree looks like the one we saw, right? But the one we saw was not pink, or the one we saw was brown. Remember? Say, yeah, yeah, yeah. They're giving you what you're doing. Instead of just saying, which one did you see? That one was brown. Maybe this one is pink. Is brown and pink the same thing? In your child's eye, brown and pink are similar, especially if it's that brown that is close to wine. The child knows. The truth is that whether the color is wrong or not, at least the child is talking about something similar. What you should do to help that child in that moment is to say, oh, this is different. Oh, yeah, I can see. Oh, I can see the connection. But this one is pink. That one was brown. And that child just learned something new. But one thing you have done for that child is that you have made him confident of his idea. So when he gets to a situation or room, he's not going to have an idea and he won't want to speak up. You know, children who have idea, they won't speak up because somebody has been shutting them up. And you may say, but I never say shut up. Oh, in the way you criticize the things he say, in the way that you don't validate it, in the way that he says, oh, this thing looks like my teacher's stuff. I'm like, that's not your teacher's stuff. But pay attention to what we are reading, Jare. No, he's trying to build a graphic picture. Be patient and listen. And then you say, oh, true. Try to find a connection. You are the adult. Try to find the connection. And you can say, oh, your teacher's one is, oh, okay, the bottom. It can be one small thing. But to that child, that small thing is everything. Because the way children look at the world, everything is big. Everything in the world is gigantic to small children because they are still small. You are the one who helped them make sense of it. So if you don't validate what he's saying, after a while, he will think that it doesn't have sense and he will stop speaking up. Okay? So number 6, the next one is to acknowledge and accept your mistakes. Oh my, we've landed on the sorry part. We all make mistakes. I know you are the parent, but you make mistakes too. And sometimes those mistakes are, are, are done in a way that they end up hurting our children. The question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to be like those are our parents who never apologized to us, the ones who never admitted that they made mistakes? I would take a parent who never admit anything and keeps quiet than the majority that will make it my fault. Is it not your fault? Would I have done it? I would have done it. I wouldn't have done it if it's not because you did it. That's a shame. You know what that means? You're telling your child that they can never do anything right. Because if you have hurt them or you've made a mistake and then you are making it their fault, it means they're going to go up to people who will think everything is their fault. People will not believe in themselves. People will think that they are always at fault. It will be like that. We will all make mistakes because we are human. You are a parent, not God. So instead of being afraid of failure or afraid that your child will see you, your child will not see you less because you made a mistake. In fact, when you make a mistake and you admit that you made a mistake, you give your child the permission to make mistakes, admit they've made mistakes, and grow from it. Your own mistake should be a learning tool. Oh, I made a mistake here. Abdullah, this is what I did. What do you think I should have done better? You can make it a learning moment for you and your children. And child will say, mommy, next time, maybe you should do like this. And you'll be like, And then together you can come up with a creative idea, way to correct the mistake. And you will see that it teaches your child what to do when they make mistakes too. It teaches your child to also look at you. You may think the child will start looking at you like a small person. No, the child will actually start looking at you like a hero. It doesn't matter that you say, "Ah, sorry." No, don't just say sorry. Talk about the mistake. You need the reflection for yourself too. So reflect with them. Or maybe reflect on your own. And when you've taken the lesson, you can sit the child down to say, Mommy makes mistakes because everybody does make mistakes. But what do we do when we make mistakes? We make mistakes and we take lessons from it and we'll do better. You're teaching your child a great lesson that will help them be confident. When I tell people, when I teach public speaking and people are afraid of the stage, and I ask them why, everybody's afraid of making mistakes, of failing. And I always look at them like, so what, when you make mistake, what would now happen? Are you going to die? But because nobody modeled what to do when we make mistakes, other than criticism and harsh criticism, we do not know that mistakes are part of the growth process. And this is one of the reasons you may need self-awareness yourself so that you can take care of all your own self-esteem problems because you cannot raise confident children with your baggage. Now, this one is something that we hear a lot, but I'm going to reinforce. Avoid comparison. Avoid comparison. Avoid comparing your children to other children. Avoid comparing your children to themselves. Every child is unique. Every child is special. It is those children, the ones that make you shout, those are the ones that were sent to actually help you reshape your own self. So instead of fighting it, what you should look for is to check yourself. What is it in me that I need to get better in order to parent this child better? You will become a better human being for that child and for yourself. But stop comparing. It is difficult to not compare, definitely. It is difficult because social comparison is a part of who we are as human, and it does have a few advantages, but you need to watch yourself. Now, it's not even just comparing your children alone. You also don't have to compare yourself. You know, compare yourself to me. I teach confidence for a living. Raising confident children. If I don't raise confident children, then Allah is just trying me. And that's just it. I've boosted the confidence of thousands of children. So if I'm raising a child that is not confident, then there must be something that I want to test in me. So you can't compare. I've been doing this children thing for almost 15 years. You just had a child. You've not done it as work. You've not had the level of research I've done, the experiences I've had with different kind of children. I've taught children with CP. I've taught children with ADHD. Talk about the kind of kids I've not worked with. I get practice. You can compare yourself to me. And even I can compare myself to you. Because doing that work or doing it as a parent is another, they are different ball games entirely. Let's not even say that you're comparing yourself to someone you got married the same year, you born the same year, you clinical the same year. How? What? You may have married from my family house of stubborn people, and your children have picked our genes. She may have married from a family house of people who don't like wala, and her children have picked them. What she needs to do to get the job done may not be as much as what you need to do to get the job done. And what are you even comparing? Maybe the job she's doing behind closed door is a lot bigger than the work that you are doing. But you cannot see because what we see is everybody looks good. You don't know whether the entire part of my office is scattered. When in your mind you are judging your house by this background and this chair and how everything looks organized. I show you the rest of the room, you probably be like, that's the way it is when you compare yourself. Or compare your children. Yeah, because one child came first, you are already knocking your child's head on the day of every time. Is it only that child? Do you know whether that child is still bedwetting at 11 years old? At least I know that while I was collecting first place prize in primary school, I was still bedwetting at home. And your child that you are knocking has not bedwetted since he was 2. And then you are there comparing your child. But it is a big deal that your child is not bedwetting. It is a price. Because those people that their child is bedwetting, their whole house is smelling. They're buying mattress every week. It's Macintosh they are using. That's something. You don't know always look neat. Do you know whether the children always look neat? Not because they are using the same uniform from first term to second term, but because she's buying uniform every term. Can't judge. Do you know whether those children, the reason their socks is not dirty is because their father has a kobo kobo and that will beat the hell out of them. That's why they are not talking. You don't know. You see a quiet child and you're like, oh, I like how this child is so quiet. Look at my own jumping. Do you know whether when that child opens his mouth, it is venom that comes out? And people will look at me and say, they like this, this booty is too all over the place. And then they will look at some of my friends that are gentle. You don't know their anger, their temperament. When they're angry, and you be like, she mad. Or the ones who look like they can never do anything wrong. Or they are the one that is sleeping in boys' house every weekend. The next thing is to be present. You have to be present. Present doesn't mean that you are attending or you're at home. Some of us are at home, but we are not present. The children want to ask questions. Don't be disturbing me. Go and be doing your doing. But you're at home. If people say, is there more spiritually, mentally, socially? She's just there physically. The children have basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter, but they also have emotional needs. And you have to be present. I know that a lot of us are going through emotional struggles. Some of us are dealing with some nasty stuff in our marriages that doesn't make us. What I say is get out of your head. Get out of your head. Get out of your head. Your husband can take care of himself. Your children. If you still told one woman yesterday that, see, the kind of wala that you have carried this wala like this, you carry like this, you can't do anything about it, put it aside and ask yourself, what has to be done now? Children need you to stay strong. They need you to heal from that issue. And I know it is difficult. Wallahi, I know it is difficult. However, it is not impossible to decide. Some of our mothers did it and be like, you know what, I'll just focus on my children. I'm not asking you to just focus on your children the way they did, but at least take a cue from them and be present for your children in the very least. Don't be lost because we are now in a mental health age. Now, you will, you people are not being like our mothers that left all their emotional problem aside to focus on us. You're not even focusing on anything. You will now lose on both ends. May God not let that be your portion. Just as you're trying to find a solution to your emotional problems, you need to find a way to separate all of that moodiness and focus. It is difficult, but I can tell you for a fact, from my own experience, that it is possible. In fact, I use my obligations in other areas of my life to distract myself. So I zone in. Like, you know what? I'm here 100%. And that's what you should do. Not easy. And this is why you need, again, TP parenting, to deal with your emotional stuff, to deal with all the stuff that is affecting you and not allowing you to be present for your children. Like when you are there, you are there. They can see that mommy is there. It's not like you are there and your eyes are looking like it.
Okay, I hope she'll be back soon. Let's just wait. We have just 7 minutes more for this session to end because we're having another session immediately after this session by 7:30. So you can start dropping your questions now while she joins us in the next. I think she's back now.
Okay, so wrapping it up, the last one is to take time to reflect on your own confidence. I think I touched on it somewhere in the beginning and the beginning. You can't raise confident children if you're not confident. You need to find a time to reflect on you. On me, I usually do it very early in the morning before after tajud, while I'm waiting for subri. I will sit down and just reflect on my own issues. A lot of times, yes, I said you should focus on your children, but the truth is that you cannot give what you don't have. So fill your own cup. If you feel like you have imposter syndrome, you have confidence issues generally, you need to work on them. You need to work on them. The good thing about taking a course in confidence is that you're also going to learn tricks to apply to your children. When the things you're learning, you'll be able to also teach it and model it for your children. So you have to find time to reflect on yourself. And then you also need time to reflect on your parenting. Now, I'm not telling you to be saying, hey, am I a good mother? Am I doing giving up for the children? No, that's not what I mean. See, you're doing your best with what you have. So every week you have goals. What are my goals this year? I want my children to learn a couple of skills. Every year, at the end of the year, have a family meeting, have a family vision, sit down and plan. This is the things we're going to achieve as a family. Have each of your children at the beginning of the school year to design their own goal for themselves. At the end of the year, you can all as a family say, okay, what goals do you want to achieve for yourself? Me, I want this. Daddy may be a part of it or not. It will be amazing if daddy is a part of it. But if daddy is not a part of it, I was raised by a very present mother and a father who comes and go, but when he's there, he's there. And when he's not, he's not. So it doesn't necessarily mean that daddy has to be there by force. I see a lot of women saying, I cannot do anything. My husband is not there. See, you can do anything. If you can do anything and you can relate, you will survive. The children would rather have one parent, one present parent, than have no parent at all. So please sit down and what do they want? Everybody in the family should have a board where everybody pays their own, and your job is to hold everybody accountable and ensure that they are all achieving it and use it will even make it easier for you to help them. And when they do great things, you clap for them. And when they make mistakes, you talk to them and help them. See, the way that my mom turned my life around in SS1 was motivational speech. And this was in the 90s, right? Was it? What year was I in SS1? Yeah, 2000. Okay. And this was a time when motivational speeches were not popular. But I remember that I came home first time SS1, it was at 99, first time SS1, and my mom said, we will resort to Shiwolele. And it was my confidence. And she talked about how you've been in that school for 3 years. Junior school, I left you alone, thinking that okay, it's because Lagos Kinikaka. You've been there for 3 years. There's nothing like children from other schools better than you anymore. All of you are now the same now. So that was the first talk. And then they started after they first talked about my self-esteem and how I shouldn't feel low to other students. And then they now talked about my own productivity and what I need to do better. Then they now gave me tips and will lie. If you told me in SS1 that I'll be a prefect, I'll say it's a lie. Miolodo. By SS2, I'd already gone from number 30 Kinika to top 10 in my class. And that's how it remained till I left. And I will tell you it was my mother's speech. But my mom could pour that in my cup because she had it in her cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So work on your confidence, work on your confidence, work on your confidence, and it will show in your children. I hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able
Okay.
to successfully deal with the topic. I hope.
Few, few
Um,
care. That's
I'm
you being
able to
very,
teach
very
you.
humble. Few. He said few. Hey. My notes here is already filled up. Oh. Where is the
Ah,
few note words? Thank you very
oh,
much. When I told you
alhamdulillah.
guys that 1.5 hours will not be enough for us, you thought I was joking. I know the person that I brought now. She's my own mentor. So thank you very much for doing that for us, ma'am. May Allah bless you. May Allah reward you. And may your
Alhamdulillah.
light never go down. So
Um,
thank you, thank you,
um,
thank you. So there's a
um,
question for you here. Somebody is asking that for a child that is scared of scolding, but the child goes ahead behind and does something that is wrong. I think so. The question is not so clear. What can be done?
Scold the child. Why would the child be oh, he's scared of scolding, but he can do something wrong? Now, yes, scold the child, but in a way that doesn't hurt his self-concept. You know, it's scolding someone doesn't necessarily mean abuse. What's scolding? Help the child recognize you have done this and it is wrong. Now, for me, I would rather have you correct the child instead of scolding. Scolding is what they used to do that they will abuse us. Láti àárọ̀ títí dalẹ́ throughout that day. And you that you touch that thing, you that you stole that thing. People that were not there when the child did it, we know. 1 week after, you're still talking about it. Doesn't help. In positive reinforcement, the goal is to help the child recognize that they have done something wrong and then point out what to do better. Most often, we always just talk about what they did wrong. We don't teach them how to do better. And then they will repeat the same mistake and will be wondering, Shebi, I corrected you. You didn't correct. You were scolding. So what I would ask is that when the child does something, let him scold himself. But when he come here, what did you do? Why did you do it? Did it make sense to you? Okay. If you were me, what will you say to you? And the child will be looking at you like this. By the time you have this kind of conversation a couple of times regarding that thing, because the first time may not work, when the child wants to do it, it becomes their subconscious. And the child will be like, hey, if my mom is here now, she'll now say, why do I want to do it? So you're literally creating the inner voice for that child. Rather than scolding the child. If you scold a child and say, you are very foolish for doing that, and the child say, I'm not foolish, you will still go and do it. So, stop scolding. I think I don't even know what scolding is anymore because I've stopped using all those bad language. See your head, basically. You don't know. Don't do that. Correct the child. Now, one of the ways to ensure that the child stop doing it is to also understand the belief system behind what he's doing. A lot of times, the kids keep doing it because they don't think it's wrong. Because there's a belief system. Let me give you a classic example. When I had these people that live in my house, and I always complain about how they use my toilet. And it always annoys me. And I tell everybody, see, when you spit in my office, my staff, and I say, if you spit in my toilet, flush. If you sneeze, flush. There's water. And then I will find that they continue to do it. And I will just be shouting and shouting, and then I stop shouting. And then one day I came out, and this is how I used to scold them. I would say, please explain to me why you did this. And then I asked this my assistant, please, could you tell me why is it that you are always not cleaning after the toilet? And you know what this girl said? She said, because she think that genes are living inside the toilet. If we are keeping the toilet clean for them, they will be too comfortable. Wow. And that's why she doesn't take the toilet cleaning seriously. And I said, genes live in the toilet because the toilet is dirty. When we keep the toilet clean, it becomes uncomfortable for them. Ladies and gentlemen, it was since I said that my toilet have started to be clean. When you understand the child's belief system, because a lot of times we think we know. This your child that you are correcting may have something stuck in his head regarding that action that he even thinks that your scolding is unfair. So get to the bottom of why he does what he does the way he do it. Then you can now correct. So scolding is a waste of time. That time you're spending shouting that your neighbor can hear. You can literally sit the child down and say, why does this make sense to you? He will tell you may be very foolish, but it makes sense to him. And the moment you understand that reason, your job is to help him unlearn the reason. And that's basically the science behind behavioral therapy, Kini. So, but if you think there's something you don't understand, then you need to come to class.
Thank you very much, ma. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you. May Allah honor you. Wallahi, I've also
I
learned
mean,
a lot in this session. There is always something to learn with Sister Mutia. Always, always. May Allah that has given you this blessing that you don't know the value of it. May that light never die, inshallah. Thank you, thank
um,
you, thank you. So thank you everyone for joining us. We have come to the end of this session. And we are having another session immediately. In fact, my lecturer is already available in the studio waiting for us. So please do well to join us. She's going to be talking about connection points. You have learned about practical way to build healthy families, healthy parenting, healthy lifestyle. So now let's learn about the connection points that we can actually build to raise kids that are actually in line with the value and the vision that we have. Thank you again and join us immediately. And the link will be on this broadcast again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.